So I just received a voice message from a very good friend who, it's just one of those friends who you may not talk every day, but when you do, you have an incredible conversation. And I was catching her up with how I am feeling about my mindset changes and how I'm now living a life that is more aligned with how I actually feel instead of a mix of what everybody else wants me to be. And I'm just being me unapologetically. And I shared with her, it's a journey. It is not a completed thing and I'm not done yet. And I was expressing a bit of not necessarily frustration, but eagerness to get to the point where I am 100% into this new zone and this new mode. And I said, I'm about 95% there. And there's 5% of me who's still, has a thought here and there about how somebody is going to think, or if I make this change or make this move or start being this way or start acting this way or saying this thing, somebody's going to come in and say something, or that specific person I know is going to think this. So let me go. And I just was expressing this, that there's still, of course, that remnant thought. And I have some catching up to do, especially within situations where the old you was so present, and now you come in with this new mindset and everybody is like, who is this new person? And you anticipate that and fear it a bit. So I was expressing this to her and she said to me, 95% is a lot, Jacquelle. And that 5% actually is healthy to keep around as something that has you questioning or thinking about how you might feel or doubting this new gut. And actually, let me correct that. It's not a new gut. It's recognizing the gut that's always been there and actually aligning your actions with that. So let me be clear, right? And the fact that you do that 95% of the time now, and you have 5% that kind of feels weird or questions or scared or debates whether or not you should actually do that because of consequences that you worry about, that's actually good because, which she pointed out, it allows you to make sure that the way that you want to now be and this newfound confidence and this trust that you have for yourself and recognizing that that's all that matters is actually true. And it allows you to question it and re-question it and confirm it and reconfirm it over and over again because you test yourself, right? You get into a situation where you say, oh God, I don't even know if I should do that. You know what, and then it's this debate and this conversation in your head saying, gosh, you know what, I just should, let me just try it. I know this person in particular is going to be like this or act like this or say this to me or think this way, whether or not it's true. You still have those thoughts, right? But the fact that you do that, it allows you and forces you to say to yourself, actually, I'm going to trust my gut. Even though it goes against what you might think in that moment, this new way that you're walking is an okay way to be, and that you remind yourself that, no, it's okay. And even better is when you actually go against your instinct at the moment to act in your new way when you were so comfortable being your old self, then you see the results of the new you in that scenario. And you likely will be pleasantly surprised that that person either didn't react how you thought, dealt with it regardless, and you still got what you wanted out of that situation, or felt how you wanted to feel, or didn't feel how you didn't want to feel, right? And life went on, and you were still true to yourself. That exercise is actually healthy for you to face your fears and for you to be uncomfortable and put yourself in a situation where you are literally doing something that does not make you comfortable. You're in an uncomfortable mode and you are seeing and training yourself that when you do that, things will actually be okay in the end, right? Or when you do that, you instead get to align your life with the way you want to live it instead of other people's. And when you do that, you are showing that your bravery is something that can result in something positive and not something negative that you're fearing is a good exercise. So keeping that remnant, 5% that's lingering, that's still this little voice in your head, or this pit in your stomach, or the butterfly that you get when you're in a situation and you're like, okay, well, yep, like I'm just going to default to my old self because it's easier to do that than for me to like be this person, or this person's gonna like know how I used to be and then look at me crazy when I start acting different and laugh at me or question me or this. And this is what we think. I feel like I'm not alone here. But when you say instead, actually, you know, let me just be this new person, and you do it with fear, it will show you, you know what, this is actually okay, right? Let's say there is a scenario where it actually doesn't turn out good and the person did react how you think and it ends up being this thing or something that you end up with as an uncomfortable result as well. I will urge you to recognize that you actually probably will still feel like in the end, things were okay, right? That in the end, even though you got through not only the comfortable action that you did, but also the uncomfortable reaction that they gave you, things were okay following that. And again, in the end, you still got to have the thing that actually aligned with what your goals and your desires and your mindset are instead of theirs. You got to show yourself that, okay, I can be in a scenario that I'm uncomfortable with and still act in the way that aligns with my desired self rather than my past self that I'm aiming to move away from. And it shows you that this doubt that you have is something that can work in your favor. And that's what I have recognized through this miraculous, life-changing voice message, that it is not a completed project that I'm shooting for here. There is no done on this journey that I'm on, and that I can imagine that you may be on as well. So much time of my life was spent not even spending the time to think about who I really was. I just was going and moving, and I would get praise and I would check, and then it was good. And I didn't even stop to wonder or worry about or think it was a problem that I was living on this other clock. It wasn't something I even knew was a problem. And then when I was forced with a challenge where I had no choice but to acknowledge what I needed, because things were reset essentially for me, and I had to choose. Nobody else was going to tell me what to do. I had to choose. And I realized how much I was lost in that selection because nobody was there to give me some hint or guidance or permission to say, Jacquelle, well, if you do this, we will approve of you in that way. Obviously not these words, but you can understand how certain actions and reactions and conversations are ones that you use as almost a crutch to say, what is the way that I can be that you will accept me? Oh, okay, like this. Okay, let me be like that. Whether or not you even realize it. I truly did not know I was even operating in this mode. And then when you're stranded psychologically, and you are left with your own gut and your own devices, it can be scary, it can be weird, but it is, I will speak for myself, and I hope that you have either already gone through this, lucky you, or are now going through it, where you learn that this is actually the best thing that ever happened to you. And this insight that I now have of going through, having tested myself to say, who am I? What are the decisions that I make? Hey, I actually like that new person. I like that new way of thinking. That's actually me. I lost that. I knew that I was like that, but I completely lost that about myself. Now let me live that way, right? That new movement is not going to be something where you are 100% it and you have no deviation and every decision that you make is just 100%, no question about it, and you're good. and I was just waiting to feel like that. You actually won't arrive at that. And the fact that you won't arrive at that is a good thing. It's a good thing. And this may sound like I'm trying to paint roses around, self-doubt or feeling, unconfident, right? But instead it's an acknowledgement and a reality check that I'm waiting for something that isn't going to come. And the fact that I have this unfinished business in my mind, or I have some percentage, right? Even more than 5% is actually, I can imagine, also good. It's healthy for me to question and to second guess and to re-engage whether or not I actually do want to be this way. And then to confirm that, do it, even if uncomfortable, and see the result. That training will only make me better. And that is a completely new way of walking and moving, and saying that this self-doubt isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing for me to just double check that I'm good. Oh, even in this scenario, even in this tough one, yeah, I'm good. And even if I don't feel like I should do any different than what they think or want me to do, or what I used to do, or what I'm used to getting the praise for in this situation, and I do it anyway, and it's weird, and I feel uncomfortable, and I, stutter my words, and I, act a bit weird, and I take a deep breath after or before, whatever it is, it's still something that I allow myself the permission to do. And I say that that's okay, and that they're going to have to be okay with it. And that is the most freeing thing in the world. It is okay to be unfinished. It is okay to be constantly writing. It is okay to be editing and highlighting and say that, hey, the way that I actually move is better if I do it in this way with these kinds of people, right? That makes me, that becomes more effective if I do it in that way. Okay, good to know that scenario. I've learned now how to be myself a bit more in every situation. And now I know. And now I know. And now I see that it is okay. Or I see that it wasn't okay, but I will do this next time so that I feel better about it. It allows you to refine and constantly grow and remain in that growth mindset, knowing that this doubt that you have is actually a training mechanism for you to continue to get better and better at aligning your actions with your gut and your true self. So thank you, friend. Thank you, trusted friend, for a very healthy dose of knowing that the lack of confidence should actually breed more confidence, because it will only refine you to get better and better when you place yourself in scenarios that you're uncomfortable with, see what happens, and learn that more than likely things will be okay in the end. And if they're not, you will only learn even more from that failure, which is a whole other topic. I would love to get into that and much more with you if you resonate with this, and if you want to talk about the ways that you can push through who you are or want to become, and use that to align yourself and grow in your career and in life and in relationships. I would love to have you a part of this community and subscribe to this channel. Let me know what else you want support with and help with. And I cannot wait to see more of us grow in this way so that we can just live a life far more aligned with our passion, what we love, and who we really are. So thank you for spending this time. Of course, as always, if you need deeper help here, or you want to talk through a specific situation, always feel free to just reach out and let's set up a call and discuss it. You can also join the community that we're building for underestimated professionals to come together and align on the different ways that we can move and succeed in this world that may not be built for us. And like this video if you haven't already, if this struck a chord with you, and let me know how you're using it to adjust or any challenges that you're having along the way. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to continue this conversation. So here is the message, as promised, of my friend sharing her wisdom in such an eloquent way that I hope breeds inspiration and guidance for you as well.
Yeah, I do believe these 5% are good, like very good even. Even though they were the thing which kept you back and they scare you maybe a bit, they make you feel like they might push you back somehow. But I think it's great that they're there. It means that you're healthy with your thinking, that you're not having 100%, you're not 100% sure with your stuff, you're 95%, which leaves room for improvement and room for different thinking as well. So I think they're good there. I think it's good to acknowledge them and to have them in the back of your mind. And I don't think you should get rid of them. I think it's good that they're there. And it's fine that they doubt you, because it makes you improve yourself. For example, you're scared about how people will think then this pushes you to keep being scared and to face your fear of being scared and to do whatever you want instead of lying to yourself and being like, no, I'm not scared and I don't care and so on. You can just face that, and this improves you even more. So I think they are good.
What she said.